Okay, so what I'm going to do today is show you how to set up one of your noise dosimeters, really the measurement logging parameters, everything that's involved, noise dosimetry with Svantek products. So as previously mentioned, we have two types of softwares. We have Supervisor, which is in regards to report generation for occupational measurements, whole body 100A, hand arm 103, 106, and noise dosimeters. You can also do it with the 971, which can be used for occupational noise as well. And you can also use these through PC++, further analysis, time history analysis. You can really get into the nitty gritty. But for today's example, I'm going to show you through Supervisor, which if you're a hygienist or you're going out onto site and you're doing these measurements a lot and you need to create reports, Supervisor is going to be your software. So jump into our website, acu-vib.com.au, download Supervisor and PC++, download the USB driver to connect it to your PC. Once it's downloaded, you'll have it on your desktop. You can open Supervisor software. I'm going to show you one instrument. It just goes through a micro USB cable into the side of the Svan. It'll connect up. Now plug it in, the instrument's going to turn itself on, and then that's going to sit next to my PC. So once it's connected, we have the instrument connected to Supervisor. It's going to recognize that there's an instrument connected. So straight away we can see that there's one connected, SV104A, serial number is 56459, lovely. And on the left hand side here, we have all the instruments that I just mentioned that you can connect with Supervisor. They're all listed here. So the one with the yellow outline, that's the instrument that is connected. First things first, you can see that this clock is in red and it's telling me it's out of date. So that's in relation to the clock on my computer. So what I'm going to do is just double click this clock icon, updated the clock, okay, so fantastic. We want to make ourselves a setup file that you guys can use often. You can always reload it onto the instrument, you know, it just sort of saves you mucking around if you clear the settings, factory settings, stuff like that. What we have here, this is what is actually on the instrument itself in regards to setups, and this is the local files here that are stored on our C drive, and that's where you can upload the same file back onto the instrument later. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this settings file over here and I'm going to drag it into our C drive, yes, and it's going to overwrite the last file. Now once it's over here, I'm going to duplicate this settings file and I'm just going to rename the first one, let's call it test file. So now I've got two test files. You always have the original settings file in the instrument files, but you've got an extra one here on the right hand side. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run you through all of the tabs which are listed in this setup file, which is over here, which opens up this measurement parameters, display settings, wave recording options, that sort of stuff. So Svantek noise dosimeters are running 3 profiles simultaneously. These are all subject to change. You can have pre-made filters here, so like OSHA, hearing conservation, you can have the OSHA permitted exposure level there, or you can have user-defined standards as well. These will be subject to change what your requirements are. For argument's sake, I'm just going to use a user 1, a user 2, and a user 3, and this is where we can change everything ourselves. So for example, let's do A-weighted. The first profile is basically our main SLM analyzer we're most concerned about. So let's do a peak C filter. Let's leave it on slow. We've got an exchange rate of 2. Criterion level is set there, the threshold level, and also the upper limit threshold as well. These are all interchangeable, as I just mentioned. You can play around with it, see whatever you guys need for your own requirements. Down the bottom, we have alarm. When the alarm conditions are set independently for the dosimeters, it means a red light's going to flash on the dosimeter when the operator is using it in the field. For argument's sake, I'm going to leave this off for now just because I'm doing basic measurements in the office and I don't really want anything else. So that's all off now. Go over to the measurement tab, and same like our sound level meter, same like all of our instruments. This is where we can pick and choose how this instrument's going to run. If it has 1 octave or 1/3 octave frequency activated, this is where you're going to be able to see where to enter this. So dosimeter and 1/3 octave. Do you need a start delay? Do you want it to start after a minute when the operator press start? The measurement will start after a minute or 10 seconds. I'm going to leave it on 5 seconds for now. Start sync. Do you want the instrument to start on the next minute so it's nice and clear, on the 15 minutes, on the 30 minutes? I'm going to leave it off. Integration period. Typically for occupational health and safety or occupational noise, we're working off an 8-hour working day. So let's leave that on 8 hours. Let's do 1 cycle. It means when the 8 hours finished, the measurement's going to stop. You have LEQ integration time, you have exposure time. This is all interchangeable, and you have LEQ and LAV. Once that's done, move over to time history. This is where we're going to see what logging parameters we have and also our logger step. Do we want summary results ticked on? Do we want the logger to be ticked on? Leave it all on because you can always deselect things later, which makes it easier. Logger name, let's call it work 1. You know, he's the worker 1, worker 2, that sort of thing. Profile results. This is what logging parameters you want saved in the data. LEQ, max, min, peak. Tick them all on. We can deselect them later. So let's head over to display. And this first column here, this is in what we're going to see on the instrument when we turn it on and when we start a measurement. You can turn all of these on and off. If you want to say you don't want to be confused by different things that are running on the instrument, go down to current view. That's the main view. That basically means when you turn the instrument on or press start, what you're going to see. LEQ, profile 1. For a lot of people that might be enough. Screen auto off. Do you want it to switch off after the instrument's running for 30 seconds? This is where you turn that on to save battery. And then you have display results. So a lot of customers might not need to see every aspect of the dose meter on the display of the instrument. This is display settings. The data will still be there later. Tick it on, tick it off, whatever you want to see, that's up to you. And let's go over to spectrum. So choosing your spectrum. As mentioned, these dose meters can do 1 octave and 1/3 octave. So what we're going to do, this is where you choose your filter. Let's do it maybe as an A-weighted filter for what the human ear can hear, or you can do a C-weighted filter when you're using hearing protection. Display scale. So is the range of decibel levels that will be displayed on the screen. 40 dB, is a good recommendation. So let's leave it on 40, the grid on, let's leave that. Now I'm going to go over to the general tab. As I just mentioned before, when I placed that acoustic calibrator on the instrument, this is where you enter the level of the output of the calibrator. So once it's calibrated, us, a NATA laboratory will give you an output of your acoustic calibrator. Mine is 114.02 dB. You can make this 94 if you've only got a 94 dB calibrator. I'm going to put 114.02. Leave the post-calibration files after the last calibration. Auto calibration on, yes. Now, statistical levels, very straightforward. Do you need to change them? Do you need to leave them by default? I'm going to leave them by default. Keyboard lock during measurement. So after this, once I do a measurement, I'm going to show you how to lock the instrument. So basically the operator can't really unlock it just by bumping it, that sort of thing. Lock during measurement, yes. Unlock on the key, yes. So that's how you're going to unlock the measurement using the navigational buttons on the instrument. Last one is auxiliary. This is in regards to warnings, vibration threshold. Someone knocks the instrument, you can set a vibration threshold of where you want it to be if someone knocks it for it to be in the data later on. Language, English, time to shut down, Bluetooth option, so you can tick that on. Then you're going to have a code, and that's what you enter into your Android phone to get the Bluetooth going. I'll show you that shortly. If we head over to auto run, this is where you can choose different times of the day for your worker. So for example, if he's got morning tea at 10 a.m. till 10:30, you can set this up already, so you can basically, the worker doesn't have to take it off, he can just do his own thing. Does he have a lunch at 11, and then does he have a smoke in the afternoon at 2, that sort of thing. So this is where you can set that on. We also have a timer, tick the timer on. Do you want the instrument to start on a certain day at a certain time because the worker will be using it or working with the instrument on him already? This is where you can set that up individually. The last tab is the recording tab. So what we have here is event recording and wave recording. So both are two different things. Just to run you through them, event recording means that when you're recording audio, the audio file will be inside the data file, playing back time history, that sort of thing. You will hear the recording through the data file. But if you're using wave recording, that means it's actually going to create a separate audio file. So if you need to post-analyze it later, you need to send it off, do anything like that, you can. So this is where you hit a trigger plus, 100 dB, A-weighted, sampling rate, 10-second recording time. That's where you set it up. Let's turn it off for now. And then wave recording, let's do a trigger positive, A-weighted, formats, 100 dB, log a step. I'm going to put that down just a little bit for my example. I'm going to set it to 90 dB, recording limit 10 seconds. That's all the setup files that you can do. If we go back to the beginning, you can see now that the test file has an asterisk next to it. That means that the things have changed and it's not saved. First thing you need to do is save the test file. So press save, and now the asterisk is gone. And then we're going to drag it back to the instrument. So drag it back over, and then that's not finally done yet. You need to apply the settings down the bottom, hit apply. It's going to send the setup file. Thank you very much. Okay. And then that's all the setup done. We're going to take a basic measurement next and then download the file for you.